So Winter Wonder Week is actually about the charities. Most people in our school just kind of see the events that are going on, things like Unplugged, but in reality the reason we do all those things is in order to support charities in our local area, which is why things at the event are going to be supporting that.
Yeah, we just want to raise awareness through Winter Wonder Week to various charities like Fred Hutch, Issaquah Food Bank, and Friends of Youth. It's just really important to make an impact as a school on our community that we grew up in.
So I think this year what the student body is trying to do is just give back to the community through different events that we're holding. And what I think is really amazing about that is the way that the student body can just rally together, especially since we're so diverse as a school. And I think it's just amazing the way that we're going to use this Winter Wonder Week to come together as a school and just support amazing charities.
Well, Winter Wonder Week, not only are there so many great events going on, but it's all for a greater cause, focusing on different charities and different groups that we're going to be supporting through the Skyline student body. For instance, Unplugged going to the proceeds going to Fred Hutch Cancer Research. Everybody can really say that they either know someone that has been affected by cancer, maybe it's someone in their family. Personally, I've had family members and I've had friends that have been battling cancer, so it's definitely a worthy cause to fight for and spread awareness for, and that's something really special that Winter Wonder Week is doing this year.
So poverty is an issue in our community that's not always as visible, and it's one that we maybe don't always think about because we do have so many of our needs met here at Skyline. But there are families and students that do have issues. As a counselor, I'm in a unique position to kind of see some of what those issues are, whether they can't pay for enough clothes, whether they can't pay for enough food, or most often I hear about paying for school fees and athletic fees. I'm really excited that this year we're focusing in on the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research, the Issaquah Food Bank, and also Friends of Youth. They're great organizations that help people within our community. And while, like I said, it might not always be as visible, just by the simple fact that those organizations exist in our community means that we have people here who are in a unique need. The other thing that I think is important is that we get caught up in our own world, and if we don't take time to really look around us and see where those unique needs are, sometimes we're not as happy, and it's helpful to get out of your own world and start looking at what I can do for other people, and you'll find that your problems kind of shrink and vanish.
All right, it's important to give back to the community because we're very fortunate people to live in this area, and this community has given a lot to us, so it's only right to give back.
Yeah, I think community service is important because not only does it help other people, but it also helps you in understanding the importance in giving back.
I think community service is important because it's giving back to the community. You're helping different people, different animals, and it's just a great thing to do. I myself volunteer with an organization known as Perfect Pals, and that is working with a cat shelter, helping homeless cats find new homes. I myself am a cleaner socializer, so I play with the cats, I feed them, and it's just a lot of fun, and I feel really good about the fact that I can help my community.
I think community service is really important because it's something that almost everyone can do, and it's not like you need to have any unique talents or skills to do, but because everyone's able to do it, it's like an open door. Like, you can just go through that door, you can take that opportunity, and by taking that opportunity and providing service for other people, it helps us learn about ourselves, but not only about ourselves, but it also helps you learn about the possibilities that you're able to do for other people, and I think that's really important for caring others in our community.
Well, Fred Hutch basically embodies hope. They try to give their patients new ways so that they can improve their health and ultimately end cancer. So in the past, Fred Hutch has developed new ways of finding out cancer and developing ways that they can solve it. So tumor paint is a new compound. It's a protein that bonds to cancerous tumors in the cells. And the cool thing about tumor paint is that when surgeons are trying to remove the tumor, it actually lights up the tumors, making it visible for them to perform the surgery. And it really makes it a lot easier for those surgeons to ultimately see everything and make sure that they get all the cancerous cells. So it's a huge improvement in the surgery, and hopefully with this it can end chemotherapy, which is kind of dangerous to the rest of the cells.
So I was diagnosed by accident with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma 2 years ago. I wasn't having any symptoms, but a year later, started having some symptoms. So just last fall, I started chemo. I'm in the middle of 2.5 years of chemotherapy, and then I will have 1 to 2 years of just freedom, and then I will have to start my treatments all over again. My type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, specifically follicular lymphoma, does not have a cure. It is chronic. So for me, Fred Hutch is really important because they are continuing the research on non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and wouldn't it be great if they found a cure for mine so that I didn't have to keep going in every 5 years and repeating my chemotherapy for the rest of my life.
So first I'll tell you a little background about my story. So back when I was in 3rd grade, my mom was diagnosed with leukemia. And leukemia is a blood cancer, for you guys that don't know. And she went through intensive chemotherapy, took several pills on top of it, to the point where she became either insanely fat and blue like a blueberry almost. It was kind of funny, but she looked awful. Or the other side where she looked insanely skinny to the point of just skin and bone, hair, skin falling off even. And that was mainly from the chemotherapy. And as most of you guys know, chemotherapy is not a strong way to cure cancer. Although it has been effective, it has been destroying people's bodies. And so on top of chemotherapy, my mom did take 36 pills in one day. And so eventually, in 5th grade, when I was just playing basketball like a normal kid, things kept on getting worse. She went into several comas and she ended up making through. She was given this experimental drug that would ultimately kind of take away the chance for her to do chemotherapy, and because we thought this would be the right cure. And so back when I was in 6th grade, around March 6th, it was her last day. We had a basketball party, end of season basketball party, where she just had so much fun. She had so much life to her because actually in that day, she is said to have no cancer in her body, no cancer cells at all. Through extensive tests, they found nothing. Later that night, she went into a coma, and 3 days later, March 10th, I was called at 1 in the morning. I was at my friend's house, and I was told to get straight to the hospital as soon as I can. My dad needs me. Eventually just drove all the way to Swedish Hospital. Then later told my mom was going to die. There was no chance that she would make it. We found out later that ultimately, she was cancer-free and she survived it, but it was the cure that killed her. All the pills destroyed her liver and her liver shut down. And so what Fred Hutch is doing is they're trying to find new ways to cure cancer. This experimental drug, yes, did work, but it was one of the reasons she died. So what Fred Hutch is doing is incredible research on finding new ways to go away from chemotherapy and finding new pills or ways to cure them that wouldn't in the end kill you, obviously. So there's several projects that are going on so far. Any donation is useful, no matter what the price or what the amount. This donation will lead to the cure for cancer. And yes, that seems very far-fetched and many people don't understand, but it's almost not just about finding the cure for cancer, but knowing the people who have gone through this or are going through it right now. Any donation makes them feel like they have a chance to survive. It gives them hope. So whether you believe that a cure for cancer is possible, and that's fine, it might not be possible, but donate to give hope to these people. You have no idea what they're going through, and there are many people, and even Skyline, that are going through this right now. And any donation counts, not just for the cure for cancer, but for hope.
Our job here at Friends of Youth is, by definition, a temporary taking care of these children and dealing with the trauma that they've gone through.
It's so critically important because they're not young people that are coming in from other states and other communities. They're our young people. And our community doesn't see them very typically. When you talk about East King County, one of the main things we run into is community members saying, well, that's a need in Seattle, but not here. And that's not true.
I've never seen Friends of Youth waver from serving a population of kids because it was controversial. I think that we've really reached out to give kids a hand no matter what the circumstance.
So there's a lot of misconceptions about the kids that we serve, homeless youth, that they're all criminals. They're young adults and kids without resources.
That they could go home if they could just get their act together. Most of the times, the streets were a safer option.
Sometimes when kids ask for help, they're mislabeled as troubled kids or troublemaking kids, when all they really want is somebody to listen to them and somebody to talk to them.
Our kids that have sexual behavioral issues are always going to be predatorial. The fact is that next to none of them are predatorial, and the risk of reoffense, especially after getting services from us, is dramatically decreased.
All of us in life need caring people around us to help us succeed, and we find at Friends of Youth that we are working with young people who maybe don't have all of those caring people around them to help them be a success. We try in so many different ways to be those people, those caring adults in their lives, helping them with the things they need, with the encouragement, the support, so that they can go on to have happy and successful lives.